Roddy. 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 Roddy.
Folks, that's what we've come to, where Rich is starting off the show chanting Roddy, 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 because of the fans going crazy in the fourth quarter, because that's all they had left in this game as the Sixers got rocked by the Chicago Bulls, 142-110. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365 or Sixers World. Rich Hoffman, Devon Givens, Bree, you, everybody. What is going on? What is happening here? Yes, we thought that the Sixers could and might very well lose this basketball game, but folks, they were down by 50. While we talked about the Sixers trying to snap their 7-game losing streak, the Chicago Bulls were on a 6-game losing skid. And they were up by as many as 50 points in this game to the Chicago Bulls at home, mind you, with Tyrese Maxey and Paul George in uniform and on the floor. The Bulls shot 50% from the floor for the entire game. They shot 45% from three, making 18 threes, and Josh Giddey was shredding the Sixers defense, while Kevin Huerter had flashbacks to the 2021 NBA Eastern Conference semis when he was wearing an Atlanta Hawks uniform with Seth Curry trying to defend him, and he dropped 27 in a Game 7 to force the Sixers home and the Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals. Folks, they have hit a new low. This is a rock bottom situation for the Sixers. Wave the flag, because this one was it. And when we talk about after, hey man, if Nick Nurse didn't get things situated in that Brooklyn game and they come back, lose by 2, we might have been talking about a coach losing his job. They were down by 50 bleeping points to the Chicago Bulls, and they made it look easy. You know we're going to talk about him too. Rich, your thoughts, even though you basically explained them by starting off the show chanting Roddy.
Devon,
what the?
I'm almost speechless. I gotta be honest. And
I'll carry it for you. You know I will, man.
I know you will. So,
golly.
So during our pregame show, we both said that the best result tonight, if look, I understand people that want to root for the Sixers and, they just want to show up and root for their team for 2.5 hours. But in the long run, the best result for the Sixers tonight as a franchise would be a loss. It's one of those 6-point games, as Kyle called it, where, you have the team that you're jockeying for a position with, for the 10 seed, if you want to look at it that way, or for the 6th worst record, if you want to look at it that way. So they lost. They got the result that you and I said would be the best result for them moving forward. I did not think they were going to lose that way. Man, that was incredible. It was like, I'm not even mad. That was impressive.
That was impressive.
I cannot believe you lost that team. Don, that team lost 6 in a row. They were down multiple guys. They sit Vooch to start the game.
Because they're trying to lose.
They were up by 50. Lonzo gets hurt at halftime. 50. That was
unbelievable.
I can't remember too many process games that were as bad as that. That was unbelievable. They needed David Roddy and Lonnie Walker to put a little bit of lipstick on that pig at the end of the game. Whatever the final score was, 38 points. I lost track of what it was, man. That was something. And I don't think I've been a part of a season where, out of the All-Star break, you have Nick Nurse talking about, okay, we got all our guys. Joel practiced in Wednesday's practice before the Celtics game. Devon, we are not even a week removed from that. It's over, baby. It's over. Blow it up. The tank has started. We're going to get helmets for the show that we'll wear after every podcast. The tank commander helmets. We might get a tank prop.
I can't sit here and lie as if I wasn't looking for those while the game was in action. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I have nothing else to say besides
Vinny,
that.
if you're watching, man, we want the tank helmets.
Yes, Vince. Come on. We
tank helmets.
Need some tank helmets because, man, that was gruesome. And, you know, I understand that it's not going to be quite as bad as that most nights, but when you lose basically by 50 points to a team that is essentially also trying to lose, it really makes it seem like KG, anything is possible right now, where I can't imagine how bad this is going to get. You know, Nick Nurse is getting roasted in the chat. I get it. That was look, the first half when they were down 20 points was some of the worst defense I've ever seen in my life. Like they gave up what, 75 at the break?
75, a season high for the Bulls. 75, yes.
The Bulls basically, Zach Collins played a little bit, but for the most part, they played 5 out. They played with Buzelis as their center. Buzelis is a good-looking rookie, but like not even a center, not even like a transformational player. He's a rookie. And the Sixers had no idea how to guard that, whether it was in transition, whether it was just put Andre Drummond, Bona, Yabusele, anybody, put any of them in one ball screen. They're getting beat backdoor. It was some of the worst defense I've ever seen. And I think it got worse in the second half. The body language was terrible. Maxey was really bad. Of course, Paul George is still making his mid-range jumpers.
Cool, man.
Down 45 points.
Thanks.
That was, guys, I was not prepared for that. That was unbelievably bad. But anyway, I think the point is the tank is on, man. Like the 10 seed and all the fighting for a playoff spot, trying to get in, trying to play the Cavs in the first round, as Daryl Morey said.
You want to do that?
Want to do that?
If you squint?
We ain't squinting anymore, man. Anyway, I think the race to the bottom has started. It's competitive. Brooklyn, I believe they lost to Washington tonight.
Oh, cool.
So
I thought Washington would actually lose to them, but
no. So again, it's a very competitive race to the bottom here, but the Sixers really took the bull by the horns tonight, man, and they stunk it up. I mean, that was brutal. It was so bad.
That was easily the worst performance we've seen all season. Oof. Easily the worst we've seen all season.
Worst performance I've seen in 3 or 4 seasons.
They are 20. Listen to this. We've been talking, oh man, how did they 14 games under 500? This sounds way different when you're 20-37. They are 20-37 now on the season. This was comical. As Rich said, you can't even be mad. You can just be ticked off and a little ticked off, but we were laughing, folks. I'm sure so were you. If you didn't turn the television off, walk away. The 3 of us were in here actively laughing. Yes, we have a WTF moment of the night. There were multiple WTF moments of the night.
Could have been 5 or 6.
Multiple, but this one took the cake. We'll get to that one later. I'm sure many of you could pretty much guess what that one is, but this one was really, really bad. So, of course, we'll get to your super chats. We'll check in with the guys from the arena, get their thoughts on this game. Can't wait. By the way, we are together tomorrow for a full show, 3 p.m. Tuesday. So be ready for that when Rich and I and Bree will be back on Wednesday, 7:30 tip time, I believe. So 7 o'clock start against the New York Knicks in New York.
Oh, boy.
Go figure. How about that one? I'll be here. I won't be in New York. I'll be here so we can react to that one together. And you know what I'm rooting for individually. Hope he goes off. But with that said, you said it, man. I was going to ask the question because it was part of our PHLY_Sixers team account, the show account, the tweet of where do they go from here? And where do they go from here is, we talked about it earlier. And the 20, what do you do with the final 25? You laid it out already. It is time to run that big military thing and let it roll, man. Because as we said, you don't have to sit people. They organically lose basketball games. They played the Chicago Bulls with no Vucevic, no Jalen Smith, no center to their name, where Buzelis, the rookie, is playing the 5. Josh Giddey had 16 rebounds. We know he can rebound and fill up a stat sheet. He had 16.
He was unbelievable. He was embarrassing these guys.
Whatever he wanted, he was doing. Whatever. It's so bad right now that ESPN's Bobby Marks, their executive insider, is tweeting out the 2025 offseason outlook. the graphic of what the season. There's 25 games left.
That's the hard part, right? Is because, look, we laid out the reasons why losing is better for these guys in the long run. And as we said, if you want to check out our pregame show, we talked about this for a while. I'm not advocating a 3-year tank here. I'm just saying, they need to try and keep their pick if they can. Mm-hmm. And it's only 25 games, 24 games instead of 240 games in 3 seasons. It's a lot less than that. But man, if all the games are like they are tonight, it's going to feel like 3 seasons, Devon. It's bad. I mean, you need to actually you need to play the young guys and actually have more of a plan than what they had tonight. That was really bad. And that's the downside of tanking, Devon. We agreed before the game that a loss was the best thing for these guys in the long run. But that was nonsense, man. Nobody got better tonight.
It's embarrassing.
There was nothing. Everybody was embarrassed. I mean,
nonsense.
We started. It was nonsense.
It was.
Everybody got worse. It was ridiculous. People were just getting cardio. That's the downside. You don't want that. Now, obviously, it can be a little bit of a tight needle to thread because, you want to lose, but you want to don't lose like that. Yeah, that was really bad, man. That was process level. I was just waiting for, Hollis Thompson to be running out there, Jakar Sampson.
Oh, look at us. Let's say Jakar Sampson. Yeah.
Remember the game when Jakar Sampson, he was the point guard, I think, in Boston?
It wasn't just that one.
Yeah.
They did that multiple times, but that might have been the first time.
Yeah.
That might have been the first time. I'm not active on Twitter all that much, but I remember that night. I said, people, they are starting Jakar Sampson and letting him run the offense at the 1.
It was something, man. Should we get to the 3 takeaways, Bree? Let's do that.
After we ran it for 13 minutes.
These are very in-depth takeaways.
Oh, can't wait.
Some of my best work. That's what we have, everybody. That was
the good old days, man.
An incredible tanking masterpiece. That was the tanking Mona Lisa. Sam Hinkie shed a tear
Bree,
somewhere.
Can you keep that up there for a second? Because that is brilliant. Just brilliant. And brilliant.
Do you remember they used to have the old
incredible
the tank logo? They changed the Sixers. Somebody photoshopped a tank logo into the Sixers.
Our buddy
logo.
Josh Reynolds had it up there on his tweet.
Was that Josh?
Well,
okay.
He had it out there tonight. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was reminded of the years 2013 to 2016. Man, that was tough to watch, guys. It was really bad. I mean, and you look at the schedule, Devon. Let's run through.
I was right there with you, so you run with it. You run with it.
Especially after that game. Here is what the Sixers have as losers of 8 in a row now?
8 in a row, a season high, 8 straight losses.
Here are their next games. You mentioned the next one is in New York. Look, the Knicks, they can't beat the top 3 teams in the league. They can beat the Sixers.
They beat everybody else.
They can beat them bad.
What's the record? 36-20?
It's a good record. They do good against the bad teams, and the Sixers are as bad as it gets now. So that's going to be pretty ugly. Saturday, Golden State at home. They have Jimmy Butler now. They're very good.
ABC Saturday night, nationally televised game.
8:30. You're welcome, America.
And you said they cannot flex that game, correct?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So get ready, everybody. Get the popcorn ready.
I don't think so, though.
All right.
I don't think so.
Either way, bring us some popcorn from the arena.
Then one of the games I guess they theoretically could win. I'm not picking them. They're playing Portland at home. That Portland team's got a lot of young guys that are playing much better, playing hard.
A lot of juice. They're playing for Chauncey Billups.
I like that Kamara guy, by the way.
So do I.
Yeah, he's
a nice defensive,
feisty defensive player.
Yeah, man.
Scoot's playing a little bit better. Denny's playing better. Anyway, that's probably a loss too. Then you got at Minnesota.
So let's say they win 2-1. I mean 1-2.
That's worst case scenario.
Let's keep going.
If we're looking at it this way.
Let's keep going.
At Minnesota, loss.
1-3.
At Boston,
1-4.
Okay, versus Utah. That's where it gets
2-4 at home.
Yeah.
2-4
at Atlanta. 2-5.
2-5.
We're doing the Eagles win-loss.
Oh, we're
right
doing
now.
it now. It is, yeah.
At Toronto, the biggest game of the year.
2-6.
Oh yeah. Versus Indy.
2-7.
At Dallas.
2-8.
At Houston.
9. Keep going.
At OKC.
10.
At San Antonio.
11.
At Atlanta.
12.
At New Orleans.
3 and 13.
And then home for Washington. Anyway, guys, there's a lot of losses coming here. We're going to be doing post-game shows. Maybe we'll just, talk about the Rutgers game or the Duke game or the Baylor game. Maybe that's the way we have to go.
Well, what we'll probably do going forward.
There it is. There's the tank that
Josh Reynolds, our good friend Josh. Shout out Josh. Wanted to make sure you had that, man, because that's the one you're talking about, right?
Absolutely.
That's it. What we're probably going to do going forward is probably highlight Rich and I, at least for our shows. We'll see about the post-game shows with Kyle and Derek. Highlight some prospects to focus on for the draft because not just the top 5, not top 6, just some different prospects to watch for as we get closer to March Madness and what's going on there. But yeah, you're right, man. Things are really bad, really, really bad for this team right now.
the defense is so unbelievably bad every single night. And
another 39 in the first quarter.
They just give up penetration, their transition. They're like, Devon, they're the worst of both worlds because they're small, but they're also slow too. And they get back. Like, if you're small, you should be able to get back in transition, but they can't do that. So the baseline floor for tanking is, with that defense every single night, they have to be praying that a team is missing wide open threes. And as we saw on the broadcast, the stat that they had
last 7 games,
the last 7 games,
and the losses,
but before tonight's game, I think teams were shooting over 50%.
It was like 56.
That's unbelievable. And tonight, they give up 18 of 40 to Chicago. That was much worse earlier in the game. That got Chicago missed a bunch of threes down the stretch. When I say down the stretch, too, I mean like down the stretch.
So what do you want?
The butt kick.
You want the first half?
Yeah.
First half, Bulls shot 52%. They only made 8 threes, but 19 for 20 from the free throw line. They assisted on 18 of their 24, and they led by as many as 21 because the Sixers shot 40% and 28.6% from 3 in the first half.
That's something, man. You do wonder too, like, okay, tanking is one thing, losing games is one thing. Nick Nurse, like,
I thought you might want to save that for the next break.
Sure, we can talk about that. Well, maybe that's
a focal point that we need to focus on.
These guys have quit.
They've quit on them. The defense is awful, really bad. We've seen it now for consecutive games, and again, you watched the game on the broadcast. They had the last 7 games. Rich just alluded to the 56% from 3 in the last 7 games for the opponents and their point total during that time. Unbelievable stuff. Nick Nurse, though, this one might have been it. We don't know that for sure. We're just saying because of playing off of what we talked about following the Brooklyn game that they had to fight back in it and eventually lose at the buzzer. But folks, they were down by 50 points to the Chicago Bulls team that were playing small ball. And it was really, really awful.
Well, and I guess I would say too, if you're going to fire him at the end of the year, then just do it now. Like
100%.
Just let Rico Hines or Bobby Jackson. Yeah. I don't care.
Brian Gates.
Brian Gates, yeah, one of them.
Have at it.
Go
bring Reggie up to the front of the bench.
Absolutely.
Let Reggie Redding coach the rest of the way. But look, we'll get into that on the other side.
I would love that. Coach Reg.
Coach Reg, no doubt. We'll get to that on the other side. Sixers get blown out and embarrassed yet again at home. 142-110. They've lost their season high 8th straight game in a row. We're talking about it with you right here on the postgame show presented by Bet365.
And Devon, let's talk about our friends at TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Did all of that holiday shopping leave you with a credit card balance that is weighing you down? Well, think about this. What if you could pay it off faster and with 0 interest until 2026? It's true, because TrueMark Financial is offering 0 interest on balance transfers for 12 months so all your payments can go toward reducing your balance and not just covering the interest. So here's the play. Transfer your existing balance from another institution to a TrueMark Financial Visa credit card and take advantage of this amazing offer. But hurry up. Only 3 more days left. You have to apply by February 28th. So to handle all of this, visit TrueMark.com/compare for details and to apply today. TrueMark Financial, a federally insured by NCUA equal opportunity lender. Terms and conditions apply. All loans are subject to approval and a 3% balance transfer fee applies. And Devon, let's also talk about our friends at Shady Rays.
Oh man, the lights were too bright tonight for those guys.
You know, for a lot of the time that we've been running this ad, it's been cold. At least today was a nice day. I was thinking about it. Like it wasn't one of those Stringer Bell 40-degree days, right? It's
No,
a 50-degree day. Yeah. Felt like barbecuing out there, right? As he said. Anyway, it is never too early to start thinking about the summer and the sun, and our friends at Shady Rays are helping you get in the right frame of mind with their premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their sunglasses have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures. If you're a skier or a snowboarder, you only have a little bit of time left. But Shady Rays also has a brand new collection of snow goggles to help you see clearly and look good on the slopes. They are available in both adult and kid sizes, and with so many colors available, you will find a pair that is perfect for you. If your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by their lost or broken replacement program. And one other thing, if you don't love your shades, exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There is no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. So PHLY viewers and listeners, go to shadyrays.com and save 35% off polarized sunglasses with code PHLY. Over 300,000 people have rated Shady Rays 5 stars. So use code PHLY today at shadyrays.com.
Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. Eric W. in the chat simply just said this: season high 140 tonight. He needs to go. So I'll say this, E, because you brought up the 140. We were watching the game, said to Bree and Rich, they're going to get like 130 easy. Rich said, nah, they're going to get 150. They should have had 150. They had missed layups at the end of the game, like easy missed layups that they were making all game long. Chicago did. 142 tonight they gave up. They should have had 150 on this defense. I can't wait to talk to Kyle and Derek about what is being said post-game. But one thing that was said was that Kyle said Gershon Yabusele has a corneal abrasion in one eye and is dealing with swelling surrounding his other eye. The hope is that he avoided retinal damage. Of course, we hope the best for him. You don't want that for the player. He was your starting 5 tonight. So if he's going to miss the New York game, let's just put that out there on Wednesday. So that means you get a starting 5 option of Andre Drummond or a Dembona. Guess where Nick Nurse is most likely going to go? Probably going to go to Andre Drummond. Just saying.
He's out of options, right?
Yes.
He is out of options. Should we get to the WTF moment?
Oh, you want to do that now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do that, and then we'll get to Nick Nurse. WTF moment of the night.
Might be the WTF moment of the year.
Might be.
As well.
Might be. Fan favorite, show favorite, Ricky Council. Rick, you did not go get him.
He tried to get him, but he happened to, let's show it. Gets a steal. Fast break, 3-on-1.
Play it back again, Bree.
Well, Rick left his feet, and he forgot to pass the ball before his feet touched the ground. Rick is quite a leaper, too, Devon. He had a lot of time to make that decision. It was, look, there were about 15 WTF moments of the night, but this is when you knew you were in for just an unbelievable tanking type performance. Here's the second one, too. Is it in that clip as well, Bree? Yeah, let's play the second one. Our guy, David Roddy, takes the three.
Roddy.
Boom! Poor Bona. Poor Bona. Boom.
We laugh so we don't cry with you, everybody.
I mean, there were other moments as well. Andre Drummond airballed a 6-foot floater that led to a bucket on the other end.
It was a three. They had to call a timeout after the three.
Yeah. It was...
Ron says, someone reboot Ricky. That's great. Let's get back to the Ricky play. I just want to give my thoughts on that one because he gets the steal. The floor is balanced enough where he could have made a decision. Well, it's a bounce pass to Kelly Oubre, dropping it off to Yabusele for an opportunity there, or just simply taking it himself, where try to dunk, lay it up, whatever it was. The Cardinal sentence, you don't leave your feet. But this is just basically a microcosm of what the season has been, right? Just a 3-on-1 break. And you end up with that, which is arguably the most insane play of the season, where Ricky leaves his feet and gets called for a travel in a 3-on-1 break where you should have gotten 2 points. By the way, you also could have thrown up a lob to Kelly Oubre and let him finish at the rim and make the Chicago Bulls defender make a decision. That was by far the worst play of the season for the Sixers, but it kind of exemplifies what has been going on for this basketball team all campaign. That type of play. You get a good play that happens, you give effort, and when you need it, and then in the end, you ultimately just slip on the banana peel on the other end and see what happens as it becomes our WTF moment of the night and arguably the WTF moment of the season, where they are 20-37 on the campaign with many, many bad plays, including that play tonight that Rich talked about with the push shot from Andre Drummond on the baseline that was an air ball that led to a fast break opportunity for the Bulls where they made a three-pointer. Timeout. Nick Nurse. It's awful. Sal said it in the chat. The season has gone from worse to worser.
Yeah. Yeah, it was it was a rough one, man. All right, so where do we go from here?
Nick Nurse. That's where we go from here.
Yeah.
You said it. They are not playing for Nick Nurse. Did they come back in that Brooklyn game? Yes, they did. But you don't follow it up. It's similar to what we talked about coming from the All-Star break. Paul George scores 2 points. They look terrible against the Brooklyn Nets. They lose that game. You come out of that one and you get rocked by the Boston Celtics in game 1 at home. You get rocked on that Thursday night. You follow it up with that opening performance in that first half, maybe even in the third quarter a little bit, to the Brooklyn Nets at home. No D'Angelo Russell. Trenton Wofford is cooking you, right? Nick Claxton, all these guys, Keon Johnson, they're doing their thing. And it's just terrible. You follow it up after having a practice, film session, all of it. And this is what you get? It's going to be tough to convince Sixer fans that he deserves to keep his job. So I'll ask you this. If he doesn't get canned tonight or tomorrow, does he start next week? Because we just looked at it. I'm going to lose to New York, going to lose to Golden State. Is he coaching to start the following week, this basketball team? Especially if you get these lackluster performances. You may not get blown out by 50 or 34, whatever, 32. But if they're losing these games by double digits and we're seeing the same type of pattern, does he go into the month of March outside of that Golden State game coaching this basketball team?
I'm very curious about that because Daryl Morey did not want to fire him. At that press conference a couple weeks ago, he went out of his way, man, to say that the reason we are still alive, or whatever he said, whatever their record was, quote unquote alive, was two reasons. He said Tyrese Maxey, that one was true, and Nick Nurse was the other one. That one was like, I'm not really feeling that one quite as much. But I thought it was a point. He was sending a message to everybody that we are not firing this guy. This guy is our coach. And so we went above and beyond to credit him for the work that he has done.
Things change.
I wonder if this week has just gotten so bad that it'll turn into a situation where you have to fire him. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think I think you could send a message to the young guys that, this is a little bit unacceptable and you need to put a more professional effort together. I mean, I think Nick Nurse is cashing checks right now, though. I mean, I think his coaching job this year, they're not ready to play. And it's not just his fault. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that firing him would be a cure-all for this team, but like, what does he do? What does he do well? This was a tanking level effort. And I understand that the team is completely shorthanded, but come on, the team they were playing tonight, there's no reason it should have been that bad. It was really bad. So to answer your question, man, I don't know. I don't think Daryl Morey wants to fire him, but at some point, if it gets bad enough, then yeah.
And guess where the other finger is going to be pointed? You.
Daryl Morey?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, I mean, we know how it goes, man. Is he willing to take the fall with him? I can't answer. We don't know the answer, and we're not in the business here to fire coaches. We're just simply asking the question, number one, because we've been around the league a long time. We've seen how this stuff works. You've been watching the league a long time. You, everybody out there, knows how this works. Someone has to be a fall guy, and things change. The same way that it don't have to be, that's how it is. So things change. There was one thing I used to always say on the radio about how things play out, whether it's a game, individual, overall season, what have you. How did it happen? Started the season off thinking they were going to be a 50-win team with Joel Embiid, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey leading them to 50 games, the playoffs, second round, and we'll see where it goes from there. How do you get to the second round and what happens? See how it happens, especially if they advance to the Eastern Conference Finals. We reevaluate on how things happen. He plays 19 games. He's a shell of himself. We don't want to see him sit, but he has to sit. Things changed. It's a different approach. This team has played 57 games with 20 wins. Things have changed. This is no longer December, where you had that 9-3 month. You followed January up with an awful month. February, you are on an 8-game losing streak, and you are close to being 20 games under 500 over the course of the next 3 games that you have to play. Things change.
Yeah.
The season has changed. So when those things change, the outlook of how things may have to go also shift. And that's where we're not looking to fire Nick Nurse. That's what happens when these things change.
Yeah. So things have changed. And so Nick Nurse, that's part of it. Now I'm curious what everybody in the chat would do. What are we doing here for the last 25 games? What are the priorities we're pushing? Who's playing, who isn't? I will suggest one thing right away. I kind of don't want to see Paul George anymore. Like I think
most people don't want to see him at all.
Just rest your hand up too. I don't even say that with any malice.
But to your point,
but this team
that was part of it, right? Hey, do we rest him? This thing's not going to heal unless it's like that 6 weeks of rest. Things changed.
Yeah.
You don't need to play anymore.
Well, and there's no...
You're not winning a championship here.
Not winning a championship, and there's no reason to play him with Joel Embiid, too. Like, part of the reason you would play him is to get some chemistry with Embiid and try and figure out how the three of them work together, that being himself, Joel, and Tyrese. I'm not really... I know for a fact... it's... I don't know. I'm getting a little ahead of myself right now. But it does not seem like they will get Joel back on the court for the rest of the year. That's one guy. I would say in general... I'd love to see young players play for the most part. So Justin Edwards, when he gets back, he needs to be playing a ton of minutes. Mm-hmm. Now, he's obviously one of their better players right now, but I'd like to see him playing a ton of minutes. I'd like to see Grimes continue to play a ton of minutes, although somebody in the chat did say that he might have tendonitis, they said?
Well, something. Kyle had also said in the middle of the game that he did not return because he had...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's Grimes as well. I think Jared Butler, let's see what he got. He came into the game. He's basically been out of the rotation, but he gets into these games pretty frequently because they are down by so many points. Mm-hmm. Bona needs to play.
He needs to play.
Need to get Bona in. Let's see what they have in him. I think he's again, he struggled a little bit tonight, but he's not any worse than Drummond or Yabu as a 5. Offers some rim protection. Let's see if he can work out some of the kinks and make some of those rookie mistakes and get some of that valuable on the job training experience. Those would be the big things I'm looking for.
Yep, I don't disagree. I'll share mine on the other side. We're going to squeeze in a quick break here so we can talk to Kyle and Derek on the other side as well. Whenever they're ready, read your super chats because we do have a ton here with us tonight. This is the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show. Sixers get rocked by the Bulls. We're here, presented by Bet365. Have you noticed watching your basketball team this season and your hair starts falling out because you're pulling it out because you're so frustrated of how things are going? Well, I got the place for you to go. Glatt and Morgenstern. They have teamed up. They have become the fantastic Glatt Hair by Morgenstern Medical that can help you with any problem that you may have. If you're looking for a trusted expert to answer all your hair-related questions, Glatt Hair by Morgenstern, once again, can help. Their board-certified experts have performed thousands of hair and plastic surgery procedures. Each patient receives a complimentary one-on-one consultation to pinpoint the best course of treatment. And with Glatt Hair Medical, Morgenstern Medical, they utilize leading-edge treatment for prevention, restoration, such as laser light therapy, non-invasive TED treatments, vitamin supplementation, PRP, and stem cell restoration. And that's all there for you. They care for their patients. The advocates work with you from the first phone call to the very last follow-up visit. They understand that this doesn't have to be difficult, that this decision can be emotional and challenging. They're here to help and make your experience simple and stress-free. So change your hair, change your life. Bald is now optional, but regain your confidence with Glatt Hair by Morgenstern Medical. Learn more at glatthairmctr.com. That's glatthairmctr.com to learn more. And we also have to tell you about our good friends once again as we hang out on this difficult Monday. We see some injuries happen. Rothman Orthopedics is the place for these guys to go, whether it's Quentin Grimes or Gershon Yabusele. You never want to see anybody come up injured. But if you do, Rothman Orthopedics, they specialize in care, and has been their passion for over 50 years. Their mission, high quality, compassionate, and affordable care rooted in research that leads to new treatments and better outcomes. We know about the situation with Joel Embiid. New treatments, better outcomes. You can only hope for the big fella as his career moves on. Since 1970, their physicians have remained committed to research, innovation, and minimally invasive procedures to get you back to what you specialize in. Rothman Orthopedics, they specialize in you. It's not just the volume of 255,000 of new patients and consults that Rothman's most proud of, but instead it's their commitment to improving each of their patients' lives through their service and care. And year over year, Rothman consistently performs among the highest volume of hip, knee, shoulder, and ankle replacements in the country at over 60,000. So if you are among those who need maybe that type of treatment or some other part of your body to get back to 100%, Rothman Orthopedics, they specialize in orthopedics, and you visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to learn more and make an appointment today. Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365, where the Sixers Sixers were embarrassed by the Chicago Bulls 142-110. Cannot stress it enough. While the Sixers were on their own 7-game losing skid that is now extended to 8, Chicago snapped their 6-game winless streak tonight with this win by 32 points over the Sixers, and again at one point led by 50 points. Let's get to the Super Chats, Bree. I'll give my thoughts as Rich was talking about those. Saya Ryder says, felt like I watched a funeral all season and probably nurses.
We'll see. I think clearly this is a funeral. These last few weeks, these last 2 games are an exclamation point on these last 2 weeks of just awful, awful play. And yeah, the season is over in terms of competing. Now it's okay. What draft pick are they going to get? Yeah. So and we'll see about Nick Nurse. But yeah, it did feel like a funeral for a lot of that game. It was really rough to watch.
Yeah, Skunk Riley checking in with us, saying I smashed my pinky in my car door on purpose in solidarity with the steaming pile.
Skunk, don't hurt yourself. Come on, man.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't hurt yourself. But I understand because now Maxey has a a pinky issue.
Yeah.
We don't make jokes about him because he's been pretty good all season long. Scott Galupo says, can the Gold Standard Shop print us up some T-shirts of Rowdy Roddy
I like that one.
in a kilt to get ready for St. Patty's Day?
You think David Roddy's ever gotten that one, the comp to Roddy Piper before?
I don't think so.
Probably not. I enjoyed, at least David Roddy played hard down the stretch, got some shots up. So I don't want to, I don't know if he turned into a folk hero by any means here, but good for him. You know,
you started it.
I didn't start it. The fans started
They
it with
did.
their chance. Yeah,
They did.
or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted him to shoot every time down the stretch. I didn't need Lonnie
pulled up
Walker to shoot.
He pulled up from 30.
Of course he did.
He pulled up from 30 at the end of the game. Skunk Riley with another. I had more fun caring for my sick grandmother at Lincoln Hospital than watching this grease skid of a team. Well, get well, Grandma.
Get well, Grandma.
Get well, Grandma. And that was a tough one. That was definitely, that was a tough one. Golly, why did they have to do this to us, man? Why did they have to do this one to us? Jeez.
I don't know, man. But they gotta.
Holy cannoli, did Josh Harris demand a tank, or are they this bad?
I think they're this bad. I mean,
they've shown us.
75% of it is that they're this bad.
They've shown us.
And maybe the other 25% is that it was an awful night too. But they're this bad. Like their defense it's the worst defense I've ever seen. It's so bad, man. They just they give up layups and threes the entire game. It's everybody too. It's
what is Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart and Kale and OG Anunoby?
Is Tibbs going to actually play these guys 40 minutes in this game? This is going to be the real test, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a test.
If they're up like 18 down the stretch, he's still playing those guys. They'll probably be up more.
Which is ridiculous.
But
yeah, All right, Furious. No shot next year either. Still have two max players on the floor. If the goal next year is a championship, we need to realize McCain and a rookie will not help this team achieve that.
So I think he's saying trade McCain and the rookie for kind of more help.
I guess.
More current help.
I guess. Or that just the other max players are just simply not good enough when they're on the floor. That those guys are not going to be good enough to elevate their games to make up for the disappointment from the star players.
If they got like the 6th pick, I'd be curious if Darryl would actually shop that.
Yeah.
My guess is he would still keep it because the offers wouldn't be good enough and he wouldn't be able to get the veteran help he would. But I think he'd shop it. He obviously wouldn't shop like a top 3 pick because those guys are potential game changers.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder what he would do at 4. By the end of the show, too, you got to do your one spin a day.
One spin.
One spin post game. Jake M. At one point during the spring, summer, does Morey think Joe was deserving of an extension? Franchise crippling mistake so far for this organization.
Doesn't look great, Jake.
Doesn't look good, especially after consulting with multiple specialists, and they said it was okay. Not good. Not good. Holy cannoli, once again, Jimmy Butler is better than Paul George. He looks like it.
Sure.
Looks like it, holy cannoli. And we'll see them on Saturday, 8:30, Golden State. Whew. Marcus Blackstock, a week ago.
I did my spin.
Someone told me it wasn't the time to shut it down last week. Now we are here.
I did my spin. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have to announce this. Number 2.
Number 2. Dylan Harper?
Dylan Harper. Welcome to Philadelphia.
Look at that. Stop right there.
It was the 8th pick the other day. So no pick. Tonight, a little bit better. Dylan Harper.
Stop right there.
People would take that.
Yeah. That's pretty good, man. We need to start keeping track of these.
Okay. 8th pick, 2nd pick.
All right. You got it. Marcus Blackstock, a week ago, someone told me it wasn't time to shut down the last week. Now we're here. I was with Rich. We were together. Marcus. All right. We're doing I told you so's, but you did tell us.
You did.
You're right.
I was willing to play this out a little bit longer.
So
I was still holding on to it's going to be very hard to keep this pick. They're going to have Joel, Tyrese, and PG at some point, but yeah, Marcus, you were right.
You were right, Marcus.
You're ahead of us.
Yep. Time to Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Shut it down for the big fella, and they'll lose on purpose anyway because they're not good. Mark Jackson says, why support this franchise? Bleeping joke. Well, our thumbnail for our show tonight on the graphic, if you look at it again, folks, it just simply said, bull bleep. That's the type of performance it was tonight. Bull bleep for this basketball team against the Chicago Bulls. You like the pun that we did there? Okay.
I loved it.
Cool. Scott Sotan. We've seen that last game have we seen the last game of Embiid? Lonzo surgery. You know, he won't be back till he's 33. Why would he go through that? And the difference there is the height and weight. You know, smaller guard versus a 7'2" guy with 280 pounds on his knees.
As Kyle mentioned in his piece, which everybody should read if you're a diehard and become a diehard if you're not, he wrote about Joel's injury today, and the big caveat he gave is like there are a lot of surgical options for this, but not a lot for high-level athletes who want to play professional basketball at the highest level, not to mention 7-footers who are, you know, close to 300 pounds too. So, yes, I think to Scott's point, basically, they are trying to exhaust every single option that would not be what Lonzo Ball just went through. Good to see Lonzo back on the court, though.
Yeah, it really is.
But he's not playing a ton of minutes either, too. Like he's playing.
He got hurt again tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that was different. He got hit on the face. But I think he's only playing like something like 20 minutes a game. I don't think he's played 30 minutes a game yet. He's not playing back-to-back. So, yeah, again, I think they're going to exhaust every single option besides that one.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, man. This was a tough one. Player of the game tonight. Who do we go with? No one.
No one. Presented by?
No one. Yeah. It was that bad, folks. We decided, you know what? No one was worthy of a player of the game tonight. That's how bad it was. We're really at rock bottom with this team this season. Didn't expect to be here. Really didn't believe that we would be here with this basketball team, but that's exactly where we are. This is really bad, folks, and didn't see it coming. Didn't see it when Marcus, as he pointed out, told you, shut him down last week. The season is over. I was willing to give them a little more time, but the way that they're playing out there, yeah, it's not working. It's not working for this group right now. So you're right. Where do we go from here? And this one is
you gotta run it, Bree? Let's see it.
Live spin from Bree right now on the show. Live spin number 3.
Not bad.
All right. Hey, Ace Bailey.
Look,
got a take?
That would be great. You would sign up for that right now.
After seeing what you've seen, yes. Yeah.
They have a chance to not have a pick at all and just be a disaster. You would take whoever they select with the number 3 pick.
Although someone did say in the chat, the cherry on top would be them not keeping the pick.
Yeah. I mean,
just because that's their luck. That's the type of season it has been, that they would not get it.
That's the way this season has gone right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tankathon, by the way, I don't even know who runs that site, but that person followed me from the process days because it was the Philadelphia area was the place that was given Tankathon a lot of the traffic. And Tankathon, whoever's running that site is doing a great job. I actually use it for schedule strength in every single sport. So whoever is running it is doing a great job. But I think they have a certain affinity for Philadelphia because all of Philadelphia and the 76ers fans, they were there for the start of Tankathon. And they're back, baby.
So it's time we haven't done it in a while. It's time to revisit.
Yeah.
It was on ice. It's back, though. It really is. And look, we do we should wait for Kyle and Derek because this one, again, was one of the worst of the season. So we'll wait for Kyle and Derek to check on in.
It's one of those where what do you even ask people after that?
It's a good question.
What happened?
What happened?
I think that's, yeah.
What's going on with the defense as of late? How has it been so poor? Yes, you don't have Joel Embiid, but there is still a team defense thing that's involved. And I think you asked those questions. I think. How do you stop it? You guys have talked about it. You've watched film. What have you seen? We've watched it. We see just drives down the lane. Josh Giddey shred this team tonight. Kobe White at one point had a dunk down the lane where the seas just parted. And a one-handed flush easily for him. It's just a joke. Just an absolute joke. And this is really bad. This is really bad. So we talked about the coaching staff because, look, Nick Nurse goes. One of the guys finished off the season, but they're most likely gone as well. Hypothetically. We're just speaking hypothetically, should that happen. You're going to need a new coach. There's going to be a lot of flames underneath the feet of Daryl Morey, where it's not the seat is hot. His feet are on fire.
Whenever we've talked about Nurse over the past few weeks, the chat has lit up and said, what about Morey?
Yeah.
Basically.
Like we're letting him off the hook.
I tend to think that he's going to get the benefit of the doubt from Josh Harris, but I could be wrong. It's one of those things too, where I was on board with a lot of these moves too. So I don't want to speak in a way where I'm lighting him on fire, but also being disingenuous about in the summer. I thought this was going to be a pretty good team.
So when you see these rumors from other places we saw rumors about Myers like a couple months ago, maybe December, early January, before things started going, and we see Ymir there in the chat bringing up Bob Myers. Heard his name again the other day. It may not be the greatest option, but the point of it is people are throwing out names already. And you go with the hot name. This is what happened with Daryl Morey. You go with the hot name. Yeah, we have to start talking about his security as well.
Yeah, I think it'll be a talking point. I will say I am not.
And Kyle's going to join us here shortly, folks.
I am not quite as enthused about Bob Myers.
I know you. Yeah, I know. Yep.
Felt like a lot of that team was already built before he got there, including Steph. And yeah, I mean, good job keeping the cap space open.
Good job getting Iguodala.
Yeah.
Something like that, or Livingston piece.
Who wanted to go there.
Sure.
And KD as well. I just don't know if that's replicable here. But that is a topic for another day. Anyway, my point is for everybody who says, what about Morey? We hear you. And that's something we will, I'm sure we'll discuss over the following weeks.
All right, let's get to the arena right now. Check in with the gang to get their thoughts of, not necessarily just their thoughts, but what was said. We didn't have a chance to run through anything on social media, so we'll head to the arena right now. Check in with Kyle Neubeck. Kyle, we've talked about this a few games ago where we said, that was the worst loss of the season. Easily tonight that surpassed that. What could they have possibly said tonight in the post-game press conference, starting with, I guess, Nick Nurse?
I got to tell you, they just had no answers. It was really just, Nick Nurse sat up here and looked very emotional, was basically like, I'd love to talk about, when we quit, but we never started. And it's like, we just weren't professional and all that. And then, so we talked to, nobody came to the podium tonight. They were so bad that it was a podiumless game. Tyrese Maxey and Paul George were the only guys who ended up talking to reporters. And Paul George was asked about, how does this happen? And he's been saying this over and over recently, like, we got to want this, and it's unacceptable that we haven't defended up to this point. And someone was like, well, so how would you fix it if you're going to? And he shrugged his shoulders and he said, I don't know. If I knew, we'd be doing it. And so it's just, this team just has nothing right now, right? And I think I'm sure you guys have talked a lot about Nick and a lot about what this type of loss says about the locker room and people's commitment to him and whatnot. Like, I've said it before, there have been several losses where if this team earnestly believed that they had a chance to go anywhere, you could have justified he's out the door, right? Like, and this is the worst. I agree with you guys. This is the worst of all of them. They were never in this game. They were down 50 points to the Chicago Bulls. They gave up 70 plus points in a half to the Chicago Bulls. They had Josh Giddey looking like he's Magic Johnson for most of that game. They are letting guys waltz down the middle of the lane. Like, there is no analysis other than this team quit. And this team does not want to play out the rest of this season, whether it's together, whether it's for this coaching staff, whatever. Like, that was a complete capitulation, and they had no answers post game. They just, Tyrese Maxey, they didn't point fingers. They didn't blame that. They said, the quote that he used, and I've heard this one before, it's not all about the X's and O's. It's about the Jims and Joes, is what Tyrese Maxey said. And, I agree with him in the sense that there does have to be a base level of want to on this team. And we haven't seen that, right? When you watch teams like the Bulls, like the Nets, like the Raptors, who are all the same level of bad record-wise or worse than the Sixers, come in here and just outwork, outrun, out-rebound, outshoot these guys for 4 quarters, it's like, this whole thing stinks. This team stinks. Their attitude stinks. Their approach stinks. The scheme, the system, everything about this team stinks. And it's incredible that there are still 25 games of this left.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up, Kyle. I guess we haven't talked about Maxey at all tonight. Obviously, he really struggled. There was the one play where he just lost the ball, like literally making a move 35 feet from the hoop. Did he talk at all about his hand? Because I know you had the picture before the game, and he didn't say anything about that. It's one of those post-game pressers where he just talk about the bad team.
Yeah, it was one that you want to get to, but it would be one of the side effects of no podium is that every single media member that's here is in the locker room. So it becomes this, like, you've been in these giant scrums, Rich, where everyone's like, rah, 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 trying to get a question in. And so the finger never came up. But yeah, it didn't look good. And I would say that if they do start edging toward guys are going to start taking games off and whatnot, that seems like a valid excuse, because the possession where he lost the ball like that, Rich, was an outlier, right? Like, he has his turnovers from time to time, but having no control of the ball as he's dribbling, that doesn't tend to be a big problem for him. So certainly something to monitor. And he'll say, if I'm out there, there are no excuses or whatnot, but it did not look good out there.
And the other one, I know you tweeted this out, but what's going on with Yabu right now?
If I laugh, it's not because I'm laughing at the injury. It's the absurdity of the injury. Yabu is being evaluated for injuries to both eyes. So let me make sure I'm getting this right. I will pull it up again. He has a corneal abrasion. I believe that's in his right eye. And then he has swelling surrounding his left eye. So initially what I had heard was the hope was that he had avoided damage to the retina. I think it's probably too early to make any conclusions there, unfortunately. So he's going to continue to get evaluated for injuries or issues with both eyes tomorrow. And we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, very unfortunate. He was in a lot of pain when he got hit in the face, and to the point that they had to help him off the floor back to the locker room. So obviously wishing the best to Gershon.
Man, someone on the Bulls should cut their nails. It's like,
we had 2 infectious control timeouts in the first half. Lonzo Ball I think he got an elbow to the head from Bona. So that was a game-ending laceration that he suffered. So just
bad stuff out there.
A really weird game overall.
Make sure everybody you go and sign up to become a diehard member at allphly.com so you can read Kyle's postgame recap, man, of this one, which is the worst loss of the season. Sixers fall by 32. Down by, Kyle, what was it like in the building at the moment where they were down by 50 points in the game? And to add on to that following, we heard some of it at the end. You didn't hear the beginning of the show. Great stuff. This guy right here started off the show chanting, Roddy, Roddy, Roddy. So just
Yeah, along with all 20 fans that were left chanting it at the game.
That's where I wanted to go. While we saw it on the screen here in the office, where seats were empty after a while, but when they were down 50 and the booze and all of that, could you just kind of take us into the arena of what it was like?
Listen, they were getting booed the whole night, and they deserved it, right? And it just kept escalating, right? You go down 15 pretty early. It's like, oh, that's upsetting. That effort's bad. I think the first hearty boos we heard were, and I'm sure it's either a play you discussed or going to discuss, the Ricky Council travel, where he went up and down on a 3-on-1 fast break and somehow managed to, the best, if not the best athlete on the team, one of them that could have dunked it, decided, I'm going to half-heartedly attempt a layup and then travel. Right after that is when the boos started in earnest. I think, I want to say it was Keith Pompey at the Inquirer had a tweet where he said, they've been booed more times than they've hit a three tonight. And that is probably the most succinct summary you can make of that game, right? That there were so many opportunities to give that team verbal abuse and just say, this sucks and you suck, right? Like pick it out of a hat. You had an Andre Drummond air ball from 6 feet away. You had the Ricky travel. You have Josh Giddey. When David Roddy checked into the game in the first half, Josh Giddey lined him up twice in a row and ran by him so fast it looked like David Roddy was wearing cement shoes, and had a layup on one, set up Buzelis for a dunk on the next play. Like, just on and on down the list. They were terrible in every conceivable way. Just an embarrassing effort from every guy on that team.
Well, the Knicks are next, followed by the Golden State Warriors on national TV.
8:30 p.m. on Saturday night, Devon. I wish we were doing almost anything else other than talking about this team at that time on this Saturday, but we will try to have some fun with it, right?
We'll see you tomorrow with Derek at 3 p.m. because, man, do we have some things to discuss tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Yes, we
Fellas, do. Get home safe. And I know with confidence that you two were more professional than the Sixers were tonight. So hats off to you. Good job by you.
We tried. Thanks,
Thank you,
man.
sir.
Appreciate it. Get home safely. And we'll see you tomorrow, 3 p.m. right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Wow. Yeah. Empty seats, booze after the Ricky play. Yeah, this is rock bottom for this group here, man. All right. Well, let's get ready to say goodbye to everybody. We appreciate you hanging out with us, all 400 plus of you, 470 plus.
Really appreciate you guys, man.
Hanging out after that. You listen, it's not the season that we expected.
No.
Not even close. But one thing that is true, as Kyle said, I hope that we were professional enough, more than the 76ers. So we're going to be here every day. You're going to need a place to vent. While, yes, you do have social media. If you're a diehard member, you have the Discord to go in and get some things off your chest. But you'll always have us either at 3 p.m. or here on the postgame show, and certainly the pregame to get ready for whatever beatdown is in front of the Sixers on that particular night. We'll be here for you. We'll be here with you. So we're going to go through this with you all week long and all season long, all summer long. We are going to be here, and our schedule is right there on the screen. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. Wednesday, we are back at it. Looks like it is a 7 p.m. and not 7:30, so that's great. 7 p.m. game against the Knicks on Wednesday night, and we're off on Friday as we have another 3 p.m. show on Thursday, and then we're back at it for a pre- and post-game Golden State Sixers on Saturday.
And look, if you want to watch the games, they're probably not going to be down 50 in these games, even though the Knicks and the Warriors are better, I think.
It is a 7 o'clock game.
I could be wrong. That could be a famous last words. But if you don't want to watch the games, just come in after it's over and chill with us, you know?
Come kick it.
Hang out.
Come on and kick it. Just hang. Just hang with us because this one is going to be an interesting one. Look, either way, the lottery isn't until May 13th. So even at the end of the season, we're going to have a full run for about a month.
That's going to be a scary lottery night, man.
Oh boy, do we do like a live show? Should we do like a live show that night? Right, Bree? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because it's normally before whatever playoff game happens. So it's not like we have to wait till halftime. It's before the game.
That would be cruel, but I think they're probably going to make us do it because we're in the content business.
We're in the content business. Kyle Wright says, I'll be in the Garden. Well, I won't be there. I've been to a few this season, but I won't be there for that one. I'll be sitting right here to be the professional that I try to be, talking about this basketball team. We've been through these seasons before, Rich, so it's not uncommon to have to deal with it, but never like this. We knew they were going to lose in the mid-2000s.
Sure.
We knew that. Didn't expect this one.
This is different. The hope for this is that it's a little shorter. Not to say that a lot of this season already has not been pretty rough, but the full-on tank, it's 25 games. That seems like a lot, but it's only a couple months.
And I'm really curious, too, along the way, as we talk about this before we get ready to get to the world-famous roll call. I want to see how they, as Kyle just said, no one had answers, clearly, or they would be out of this rut that they're currently in. No one came to the podium. Nick Nurse didn't have answers. I want to see how they comport themselves for these final 25 games.
At least Maxey and PG talk.
For sure.
I'm less worried about the
supposed
podium.
to be leaders, right?
Yeah, and if they want to talk in the locker room.
They did.
Yeah.
You're right. But I want to see how they comport themselves the rest of the way.
That's fair. I mean, again, like, show a little more pride. Just get together and say, hey, look, dude, we're probably going to lose a lot of games here, but it doesn't have to look like that every night.
No, it does not.
Let's take a little pride in the effort and the details on defense. And yeah.
All right. But we will be here every step of the way with all of you. Let's get to the world famous roll call here tonight. All of you 400 plus hanging out with us.
400 plus.
Maybe
well
we
done,
got to
everybody. 5.
I don't even know. I just looked up and I saw we were at 400 plus. Thank you so much. Make sure, number one, you go like and subscribe. We'll get to that later. Let's start off with the roll call, the legendary, world famous roll call. INS, we thank you. We really appreciate it. INS, Sean Carp, you better love somebody, love somebody, love somebody. Show your love, everybody. That used to be an old Sixers slogan there for the season. Show your love, everybody, for us hanging out with us, because we're going to show it right back to you here on the show. Yams, Igavini, Fusion. What up, Fusion? Phi Chi, Rich P, Bucket Getter 215. They could use your help. All right, Bucket Getter, they could use your help. Mellow 3 Point, they could use some of those too. Kyle Wright, Val, Kamel, Theo, Jeannie, MBD. We saw MBD in there as well. Nona. Hey, Nona. Good to see you as always. Brandon, Julian C., Davon, Al Mack, Jeannie, Phil Evans, Steve Dancy, Dave Bradley. We see you in there. JS, Jules, Boots.
What up, Boots?
MPTR, Randy, Stacy Smith, Jeeves. I didn't see Jeeves before.
That's a new one.
Good to see you,
Welcome,
Jeeves.
Jeeves.
Wawa Marvel, Riaz. We see Barb in there. Hey, Barb.
Hey,
Flavio, Joe Tiz, Jerry Sinclair, Chris B, Yamir Smith. Man, Jason King, Joaquin, Philly Love, Jess. Hey, Jess, Purple Heart. Terrence Popovich, Yams, Philly Bull, Neil Deaver. Sal. Hey, Sal. X-Man. The season has been X. It's been X.
Put an X through the Sixers
Yeah,
logo.
man. Profit One, SB Cole, Theo, Remo K, Randy, PHLY Guy, MJT, Benjami, Donald. We see you in there, Donald Outer Bridge. Coleman Potts, Dan Taylor, Evan Dave, Tony C, James, Henry Grant, Philly sports fan, the Bull RJ. RJ said, I told you, but I didn't expect this. So, Kyle Wright, Del Craig. Hey, Ron, what up, Aaron? Philly 007, Money Mar, John Peace. What's up, y'all? Scott. Super Chats. I have them here, Bree. Don't even worry. MDB, Holy Cannoli, Say It Ryder, Jake M, Skunk Riley, Scott, Marcus, Furious, Scott again, Scott Sotan, Mark Jackson. Thank you all. We appreciate you all. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us here tonight. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. with Derek, Rich, Bree, Kyle, Derek, Bree, and myself. Rich will be back 6:30 together Wednesday. Knicks, Sixers, ESPN, nationally televised.
Back-to-back nationally televised.
Back national TV. Make sure you go like and subscribe to our show. We
Bob
really
Iger's
appreciate
crying
it.
for this week of
Yes,
content
he
that's coming.
is. Yes, he is. Like and subscribe. Hit the like button. Also hit the bell icon to get the alert that is showtime, and it will sound like that right there. Sixers fall badly by 32. They trailed by 50 to the stinking Chicago Bulls. Make sure you tune in to us at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Check out the John Marks Show. That's going to start things off for us tomorrow on the network at 8 a.m. I think I might be on there. And we got to give a special shout out to the production excellence, Bree.
Super producer.
As always. Thank you, Bree. And Rich, always fun, my man.
Always fun, man.
We're getting through these, boy. Oh, we're getting through these. For Rich, Kyle, Derek, Bree, I'm Devon. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by, as always, Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.